So while I can't comment specifically with regard to the lawsuit, my position on this topic has remained consistent and steadfast, which is that we in the city of Minneapolis need a both-and approach. I have always opposed these efforts to defund and or abolish the police. We recognize that this significant attrition that we've seen over this last year has been very problematic, and we have always had every intention to continue to try to bring additional recruiting classes into this city to offset some of the attrition that we've had. Chief Arredondo and I have remained lockstep over this last year and a half. He's a great leader. I support him entirely, and part of that leadership and part of assisting him in getting to the right outcomes means that we need to give him the necessary tools that he needs to succeed. We need to give Director Sasha Cotton in the Office of Violence Prevention the necessary tools that she needs to succeed. This is a both-end approach. We need community-oriented strategies that go beyond policing, and you need officers as well. And it is our intention to make sure that we are pushing for allocations both through ARP as well as through the ongoing budget to make sure that we are bringing in the necessary personnel to the Minneapolis Police Department.
And on the police, I got something come up anecdotally this week.
Yeah.
Where I was talking to a victim of a family of a murder victim who was told by a homicide detective they're really struggling in the homicide unit right now, that they're going to reassign it. Really, no one was actually actively investigating her son's homicide. Have you heard any word from the PD of how their homicide investigative crew is holding up these days?
So I can't speak to that specific, for that individual interaction. That being said, when you lose as much of a third as your department, there are consequences. When you have one of the lowest per capita ratios of officers to residents of any major city in the country, there are consequences. When you have to reallocate resources from within a department to doing some of that basic 911 response from areas like investigation, there are consequences. And so in all of these areas, we've made do. Chief Arredondo and I are working every single day to strategically allocate the resources that we have to make sure that we're doing those investigations. We've brought in outside assistance from both federal and state partners to supplement. We've made sure that the resources that we've had are allocated to those that need those resources most in the urgency, and simultaneously, yeah, we need to be backfilling. Part of that backfilling comes from mutual aid assistance, and I'll note that in the Rescue Act funding that just got approved, there are a number of different outlays on that very topic. We've added community service officer support. Community service officers, by the way, are an excellent pipeline to getting a diverse community into the Minneapolis Police Department. Those same community service officers are able to view camera footage, and those cameras can be located in hot spots around the city so that, we can have more of our present police officers doing the necessary work. Also importantly, within the ARP funds, there's civilianization. Now, going back 3 years now, one of the things that I attempted to do in my very first budget was to take police officers presently sitting behind a desk, get them out on the street, and then replace those desk jobs with civilian, with non-sworn personnel. That's something that we tried to do 3 years ago. It was cut by the council. We put it back in the ARP funding this year, and I'll tell you, it passed. That's progress. That's getting more officers out on the streets in areas where we need them most, some of these hotspot locations. That's going to help. Now, will this funding solve the whole equation of the rise in crime that we're seeing nationwide? No, it will not. This offsets a small segment of some of the attrition that we've seen, but we have a whole lot of work left to do ahead.